And Dr. Dill, I believe, Dr. David Dill from Stanford, passed the files to Dr. Avi Rubin, who was from a security institute at Johns Hopkins University.
The problem that Bev has discovered is a pretty significant security hole, and it does open the way for people to really seriously manipulate the election in a way that's very difficult to detect.
He examined it and wrote a paper, and by July 24th it was in the New York Times under the headline, "Stunning, Stunning Security Flaws Found in Diebold Election Systems."
No one had ever had a chance to analyze the code in these machines. The companies that make them keep it proprietary and claim that it's a trade secret. And so we had a chance to see what's really going on inside of these machines.
I teach a lot of graduate level computer security courses at the Florida Institute of Technology. And if someone submitted the Diebold Gem server version that Bev showed to me as a final project, they would fail. The architecture's just that concerning.
What grade would you give them?
F.
Dr. Thompson looked at the central tabulator for Diebold, which is something that not many people had looked at up until now. It's called the GEMS system, GEMS. And the central tabulator is one of the most vulnerable systems and one of the most tempting targets because it controls the most votes at once. Central tabulators for Diebold are active in 1,000 counties. Each county has one or sometimes two, and they count up to 2 million votes at a time.
Sequoia, ES&S, and Diebold have the lion's share of the market. In fact, ES&S and Diebold alone have about 80% of the electronic voting market. And the two senior executives at those two companies are actually brothers. So it could be argued that there's somewhat of a cozy relationship there.
They keep saying their machines are flawless, there's never been a problem, even though we can by now bring forward solid evidence of hundreds of elections that have been miscounted and that have indeed been flawed.
Why should we trust Diebold?
Accuracy and security and reliability of the equipment. First of all, let me just mention there's a lot of checks and balances in addition to the actual equipment. The accuracy's been there, the reliability's been there, everything is tested before it's ever deployed for an election. Time after time, our equipment has certainly proved to be accurate and reliable.
Diebold has a very strong marketing effort, and they continue to just say their lines, which is the machines are 100% secure, there's never been fraud in an election.
Our company reviews and checks and verifies software for many of the Fortune 500 and for the U.S. government. And so, you know, kind of seeing this thing in software that's going to be used to count votes was really disturbing.
The biggest problem that he found was that there was more than one way into it. There was the official way in, and then there were these sort of secret backdoor ways in, and using those backdoor ways you could alter the results without leaving any trace.
Andy Stevenson was running for Secretary of State in Seattle when he read Bev's revelations on her website, blackboxvoting.org.
But when I first saw the GEMS hack, I was still actually running for office. And my reaction was, bleep, I'm screwed. So I sent Bev an email offering her to help her in any way that I could.
I asked him to call and find out if Bob Urosevich was still the president of Diebold, because there was some question about it at that time. They were keeping him kind of under wraps.
So I called his house, and his wife answered and apparently was on a plane, and she said he'd call me back after I said, well, I heard that he's not president anymore of Diebold.
And almost immediately got a call back from Bob Urosevich threatening him and saying, you better back off or you're going to get a visit.
I said, from who, Bob? The Easter Bunny or Santa Claus? And he says, I'm serious. And I said, so am I. I'm from Texas. I'm not afraid of you.
And so I called Andy up about 10:30 at night and said, you want to take off tomorrow early? And let's go make some visits. So Andy and I took off for a 9-state tour to find out what's really going on.
You know something's broken in the promised land. A broken promise in the promised land.
Bev and Andy discovered that many states, including Washington, were using illegal software that hadn't been tested to check if it counted votes accurately.
You know, it's darn hard to get answers about our own voting system. Andy and I approached Mr. Evan, who's the Assistant Washington State Attorney General, and asked him questions about what we do if the Secretary of State certifies software illegally. And he said, well, I defend the Secretary of State, so you